Hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. Wilder versus Fury 3. It's funny because it's the fight that really nobody was asking for, but it came out to be a classic. An instant classic. Um, First of all, I just want to congratulate both fighters, both Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, for putting on great performances. Not just this last fight, but all three. All three fights delivered. You know, say what you want to say about Wilder, say what you want to say about Fury, but they have great chemistry in the ring, not on inside and outside of the ring. They can talk trash to each other outside of the ring, and inside of the ring is even more just incredible, you know. And like I said, it was a great fight, man. It was a great fight. It's going to go down in history for sure. You know, people. This is not a prison of the moment situation. This is actually a classic fight. This last fight, the third fight, was a classic. You know, it had every element you could think of. Back and forth. Dramatic finish. Turnaround. So let's just talk about it, man, because, you know, I like I said, I was just amazed at how great the fight was last night. So let's talk about the actual fight itself. Let's get right down to it. First round. Deontay Wilder makes his presence known. Listen, man, I'm coming at you with this new style, or what did he say? What's the tool? What's the thing he said? He said, I'm using the things in my tool shed that wasn't used before. So he was going to the body a lot, jabbing to the body. You know, try to establish the body, the going up top, right? He was establishing that. And let me just tell you, I didn't make an official prediction on the channel, but I did say I did say Fury would stop Wilder in 3 rounds. But I'll get to round 3 in a minute. But let's go to first round. First round, obviously, Wilder came out establishing his body attack, jabbing to the body, throwing hooks to the body, combinations. You know, he was establishing that off of Malik Scott's instructions. And I said, you know, that's great. But here's the thing. He added more weight, his heaviest he's ever been. Can he keep that up? That's what I said. Can he keep that up? And it showed throughout the fight, he could not keep that up. He went back to what he knows best. This was exactly what I said. I said, he will eventually go back to what he knows, which is basically the right hand. Is what I said. It was, like I said, he could not keep that same intensity, especially the body attack, going to Fury's body. He had Fury thinking in there, which is actually a great strategy, because Fury was actually going back to what he does in the first round, which was feinting, right? Fighting at a distance, trying to establish timing. So he had Fury thinking a lot while Wilder was just going to the body, jabbing to the body, setting things up for the right hand. Not just, you know, trying to time somebody with the right hand, but he was trying to set it up. But I believe if Wilder would have kept that up and stayed consistent throughout the fight, it would have been a lot different. I really believe that Wilder would have probably most likely won if he kept that same level. But I said to myself, he has to do it in variations. He was not consistent with the body attack. He lasted basically 2 rounds. The first 2 rounds, right, was Wilder, for sure. Of course, round 3 came. You had the dramatic knockdown of Tyson Fury knocking down Deontay Wilder with a right hand, finish him off with the uppercut and the left hook. Great finish. Great finish. Right there, I thought it was over. I was like, oh, my prediction is on point. I was like, oh, this fight I predicted this fight to go 3 rounds in Fury's favor. He'll stop Wilder in 3 rounds. That's what I was like, oh, yes. So I was basically like, it's over. Wilder got back up. I was like, okay, you know, Fury's gonna finish him off. Finish him off in round 4. Cool. I'm one round over. That's cool. That's fine. So round 4 comes along. Basically almost the same thing, right? Fury trying to finish off Wilder. Trying to throw right hands. Smother him. Also, the weight difference. 277 for Fury. 238 for Wilder. Part of the strategy, of course, and even Wilder admitted, part of the strategy was to smother. Use that weight that Fury had and put it on Wilder to make him even more tired and fatigued. And that worked. Very effective. You see, that's the thing. Fury is used to walking around and fighting in that weight. Fury is used to walking around and fighting in that physique, right? He's very comfortable. Similar to Andy Ruiz Jr. in that frame and that body. Guys like that who fight like that and have that kind of body mass don't get tired like that because they're used to it. Muscle memory. They're used to that type of body weight. Wilder's not. As heavy as he's ever been. That weight did him a detriment. He got tired inside 3 rounds. He was already dead tired. He was gassed out by the end of round 2. He was gassed out. Matter of fact, it was actually the end of round 1. Sugar Hill Stewart pointed it out. He was like, yo, he's dead tired. He can't keep that up. And he didn't. That body attack, like I mentioned, didn't last. Excuse me, didn't last 2 rounds. Well, it didn't last more than 2 rounds. He could not keep that up. That same level of intensity that Wilder did. And that body weight did not help at all. Period. So that game plan backfired completely. Right? But going back to round 4, Fury was trying to finish off Wilder. And what happened was, with the 2 knockdowns in that round, right? Basically, Fury got cocky. Fury got too cocky. He had a mental lapse. I can get this guy out of there at the same time I can take his right hand. Flush. I can take it. So he took it flush. Remember, the other times where he took the right hand, especially fight number 2, he was anticipating the right hand, and when the right hand was thrown, he would slip that right hand, so it would not hit flush. It would be great. It would hit him, but it would be slipped. It would not have a full impact. Fury got too cocky. He got too bold. I'm going to walk him down. I'm going to take his right hand, and I'm going to get him out of there. So while Fury was trying to walk Wilder down, try to get him out of there, Wilder, of course, as he goes back to what he knows best, throwing the right hand. That's his one-hitter quitter. He went back to throwing that right hand and got Fury out of there in round 4. Knocked his ass down, not once but twice. Right? The right hand was so powerful. The second knockdown, to be honest, I would consider that more like a flash knockdown because it was on the top of the head. But that's how powerful his right hand is. Now, people are complaining about, oh, it was a long count. Here's the thing. Fury wasn't really hurt like that. He was more like surprised, like, how in the world did I get down on the canvas like that again? Right? So the LDBC and these detractors of Fury are going to be petitioning, I'm pretty sure, about round 4, second knockdown being too long. I don't think so. Because of the fact that, first of all, you can see that Fury wasn't visibly hurt. It was more like a flash knockdown. He was more hurt in the first knockdown. Got up and recovered. The second knockdown, more like a flash knockdown. He was more surprised than anything being on the floor. Like, damn, how the fuck did I get here again? Type shit. But he was clearly, if you look at all the knockdowns of the fights, who was more hurt in these knockdowns? Clearly, when Fury dropped Wilder in round 3, Wilder was hurt. You can see it visibly, he was hurt. when Wilder dropped Fury in rounds 4 twice. Fury was hurt in the first knockdown, right? He got up and recovered, and then he made another mental lapse, got knocked down again on top of the head. But he wasn't visibly hurt. He was more like shocked and surprised, and he got right back up, right? And then the other knockdowns, of course, with Wilder from Fury, the dude was out of there. He was out on his feet. Had Mark Brearley still been training Wilder? So, yeah, that's the thing, man. That weight that Wilder added, right, did him a major disadvantage. A major disadvantage in that fight, right? And, but regardless, you know, it was a great, great fight. Going back to the other rounds where Fury knocked down Wilder, it was a turning point because Sugar Hill Stewart was like, listen, all you got to do is pop that jab. That jab was... Wilder, of course, everybody knows Wilder's not known for defense. So he left himself open every time his hands were down. He was going to the corner. Of course, he can't fight off the back foot. Fighting off the back foot, circling to your left to have that center line for that right hand. He was there all night to be hit with that right hand. All night. Fighting off the back foot. Going in that center line to get hit in that right hand. Hit with that right hand by Fury. He was getting set up all night, and that jab just made it even worse. So once Fury started throwing that jab out there, it was nothing that Wilder could do. Right? Wilder could not do anything. You know, it was just a matter of time, basically. Right? Of course, he always has a puncher's chance with that right hand. Right? And the thing is that once Fury started establishing that jab, of course, Fury was more worried about that right hand coming. Right? So he'll instead of making that mental lapse in round 4, he'll do feints, and of course Wilder still falls for feints. He still falls for feints. The feints had Wilder even more tired. Those feints are so draining. And the fact that you see so many punches thrown from Wilder that were missing, like all of these flailing punches, like this, you know, that is even more draining. So the fact that he was missing punches, not being accurate, and the fact that Fury kept coming forward with feints, making Wilder more hesitate, making Wilder think more, right? Herky-jerky. That is mental and physical fatigue. So again, it was just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Right? And so, yeah, man, like, with Wilder, you know, Wilder, of course, again, with the added weight and the new technique from the tool shed that he already had, but nobody brought it at him, it only lasted for 2 rounds, man. Only lasted for 2 rounds. He could not keep that up. That body attack would have worked. I said it in the fight too. I said you got to establish a body attack, a consistent body attack against Fury. Consistent. Keyword consistent. Wilder was only consistent for 2 rounds and went back to what he knows. Right? His jab was pretty much non-existent. Wilder's jab was pretty much non-existent. Wasn't doing the jab like that at all. Fury also got right hand drunk, meaning he kept depending on the right hand a lot, but he was doing a lot more combination. He was doing a lot more punch variations than Wilder. Of course, Fury was a lot more, his punch placement and his punch variations was a lot more diverse than Wilder. You can see, of course, every time Wilder would throw, it would be a 1-2, right? It would be a hezzy 1-2. jab to the body sometimes, or a jab, or even a hook, and he go up top with the right hand. It was very predictable for Wilder. He would go back to his predictable style, right? Fury had mixed and matched with uppercuts, hooks, jabs, right hands. Uh, you know, uh, just a lot more punch variations, right? From Fury. So, overall, man, with that, especially that 11th round, the 11th round was incredible. You know, of course, like I said, Wilder was completely out on his feet, and when that right hand came against the ropes, he was out of there, right, out of there. So it was a great fight. Great fight. As far as scorecards, man, I had the fight even until round 7. And of course, just gradually, Fury just started winning every round from that point on. So if you want to say scorecards or whatever, it was still a Fury fight on the scorecards before the round 11 knockout. But man, it was a hell of a fight, great fight. As far as the post fight and everything, people talking about Wilder not acknowledging Fury in terms of sportsmanship and stuff like that. I want to hear what Wilder has to say. I know he said something to the effect of Fury didn't add the 277 pounds for ballet dancing, right? I really want Wilder to basically just look himself in the mirror and say, yes, it was a great fight. I came up short. I wish Fury the best. I don't want him or the LDBC to start blaming tampered gloves, spike my water, costume too heavy, referee was against me, NSAC was against. I don't want to hear no excuses, man. No excuses, period. Because AJ does it with multiple losses. He doesn't make any excuses when he loses. I don't want to see Wilder make those goddamn excuses again. I would say I gained more respect during the fight, watching him just continue to be relentless. He never stopped being relentless, no matter how tired he was. So I give him much props and respect for that. But everything else in terms of if he does it, I just don't want him to make excuses. Right? I don't want him to make any excuses. So we'll see with these upcoming interviews, these post-fight interviews and stuff like that. We'll see what happens. But if he decides to make excuses again, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. He can't just come. He can't have closure with himself. When I say it's a wrap mentally. He'll never get over this fight, and that'll affect him in the long run if he wants to continue fighting other people. He can still fight AJ. He can still fight Ruiz Jr. He can still fight Frank Sanchez, any of these guys in the heavyweight division, man. Frank Sanchez did his thing against Ajabe. He's still got a lot of good fights, in him, right? But like I said, even Dillian White, but he has to get over this, man, and just have closure for himself. Not blame anybody else but himself. Closure and move on, right? So that's what I want to see overall. But I enjoyed the fight, man. It was great. I loved it. Again, much props and much respect to both fighters. So yeah, man, those are my thoughts on that, family. Leave your comments down below about what you guys think about the fight. Till next time, family. GMOGSportsTV signing out.